In the play Peter Pan, we are asked to believe a few things. Among them would be an imaginary place with Indians, pirates, and mermaids, and also that we can get separated from our shadow and then have it sewn back on once we catch it. The two big things, though, in Peter Pan that we're asked to believe that really struck me is that, well, they're two and they're life-changing. The first is we learn that if we believe in something that brings us a happy thought, that simple belief will help us to fly. And you can't fake it. Only that thought and our full acceptance of that thought will lift us off the ground. And that second, with our belief in something that we can't always see in the form of Tinkerbell, we keep that thing, her in that case, alive. Peter implores the audience to clap if we believe in fairies. So if we invest our belief in a happy thought, we can fly. And if we believe in something we can't see, we can keep it alive. So when we believe, things happen. And things change. And we change. Or they don't. And we don't. It's tricky. It's tricky. Robert Fulghum wrote this that I really like. I do not believe that the meaning of life is a puzzle to be solved. Life is, I am. Anything might happen. The uncertainty is a blessing in disguise. Since everything and anything are always possible, the miraculous is always nearby, and wonders shall never, ever cease. I believe that human freedom may be stated in one term, which serves as a little brick propping open the door of existence. Maybe. Okay, so if you're anything like me, maybe doesn't really cut it. Maybe doesn't sit so well. I am very linear, I'm very black and white. There's good, there's bad, there's right, there's wrong. Maybe is gray. I don't do gray very well. It's kind of been a lifelong process of mastering gray. And yet believing lives in the gray. It's stepping out in faith. It's knowing, with a capital K, knowing when all the evidence tells us otherwise. So this is another semantic piece. You know how I am about my words. Some people like to associate belief with hope. And I don't see those two as the same at all. If I'm going to walk out onto a tightrope without a net, it's not enough for me to hope that I can do it. I need to believe that I can do it. And so for me, the difference between hope and belief is the difference between wishful thinking and commitment. And I know that you know where I'm going with this, so I'll just get there. But it's also something of a danger zone, because hope gives us something of an out. Like if it doesn't really happen or we don't get what we really wanted, we can go, well, I was just hoping. So it's okay that it didn't happen. But when we believe, from my understanding, when we believe, we're putting our whole selves in. See, it all comes back to the hokey pokey. It is what it's all about. But when we put our whole selves in, life's disappointments can hit that much harder. I believed it was mine. I believed my idea was a good one. I believed that I had landed in the life that I wanted. I believed I was safe, stable, happy, done with the heavy lifting of this life for just a blissful moment of time. So what do we do then? With hope we can go, well, I was hoping it didn't happen. But when we believe it, and then it doesn't happen, what do we do then? What do we do when we believed, when we gave our whole selves to it, and it simply isn't what's unfolding in front of us? And the truth is, some of us fall apart a little bit. when I applied for the Rasmussen grant, I applied for a writing grant so I could gift myself with time and funds to really focus on writing and finishing this book that has been with me for a long time. And I believed I would get it. I believed with a conviction that I have never had before. I had no doubt that I was going to get it. The book concept is worthy. It's important. It would benefit so many people. And I felt like the universe was going, yes, Rachel, now is the time. Do this thing. I even created a mantra. I was thinking of the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and I would walk around singing, I've got a golden ticket, and I would just sing this to myself. And I would think about the scene where the family's like, Grandpa Joe, don't encourage Charlie, it'll just cause disappointment. And Grandpa Joe says, Charlie's just as deserving of a golden ticket as any of those other kids are. And that was me. I'm like, so am I. So on May 4th, when I got the letter that informed me that I was not a recipient of the grant, it was not a good moment. And life had to go on. I still needed to show up at all of my work gigs. I still needed to show up for life. I still needed to get up in the morning and shower and put on clothes. And this is what it felt like. This idea of I walk around like everything is fine, but deep down inside my shoe, my sock is sliding off. We all know what that feels like. And so I kept doing what I needed to do, but inside I was having this experience. So where does this leave us? Well, I did some searching, and I started looking at these three ideas of hope, belief, and knowing. And I realized that each one has its upside and its traps. So we're going to look at them. Hope is associated with the positive, the potential, the maybe. Emily Dickinson wrote, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all." Which is a beautiful poem. And for me, hope is just too fluffy. It's too non-committal. When I officiate weddings, I don't say, well, gee, I really hope your marriage works out. Good luck. I mean, hope does carry some innocent sweetness, like this ethereal possibility, this childlike feeling to it. That's very sweet. It just doesn't give me enough to feel sure. And for me, I need to feel sure. Believing, however, also has its complications. Belief is more solid, it's more concrete, and that is its trap. If you ever hear me calling something out and saying, that's BS, I want to be clear that when I say BS, that means belief system. So if you ever hear me, don't think that I'm cussing, because I'm not. I'll call things out as, well, that's BS, that's belief system. And so you'll see it, like the Westboro Baptist Church is a perfect example of a belief system gone wrong. Many of our politicians are showing great examples of being very firm in their belief. That's not really good. And so if we believe something with such firmness that there's no space for learning or gaining a deeper understanding of something, then our belief itself becomes a limitation. So we can be passionate in our beliefs, and we can also limit ourselves by that very passion. However, at the same time, it would be ridiculous for me to wake up every day on this little blue rock that's balanced in space, floating by the miracle of gravity in infinite space, and not believe in the miracle of our existence. I have to believe in that. I do believe in gravity. It works. And so belief is really, it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act. And so Rachel Naomi Remen wrote, What we believe about ourselves can hold us hostage. A belief is more than just an idea. It seems to shift the way in which we actually experience ourselves and our lives. According to a Talmudic teaching, we do not see things as they are, we see them as we are. A belief is like a pair of sunglasses. With our sunglasses on, life looks green to us. Knowing what is real requires that we remember that we are wearing glasses and take them off. So believing and also still having that space of growing and learning. I don't know that I could actually live a day or a moment without believing that there is a reason for everything, that there's a reason for me. Believing in possibility, believing in what I can't see, that gets me out of bed in the morning. Believing that there's something that's going to happen today that's going to reveal some truth to me. I believe in the power of love, and that helps me officiate weddings. I believe in the mystery of life, and that keeps me searching. It keeps me breathing. So when we believe and don't allow our beliefs to limit us, we move into this next experience of capital K, knowing. Knowing is that place of absolutely no doubts. It's a firm, grounded, centered place of knowing. It's powerful and potentially dangerous. So Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela experienced a knowing within them that kept them passionate and focused on their purpose. However, Adolf Hitler also had a knowing that kept him just as focused and just as scarily passionate. I've met people in my life who were very strong in their experience of knowing, and some were doing great positive work in the world, and some were not. Speaking for myself, I can have moments where I'm just as solid in my knowing that life is good as I am in knowing that life can suck. It's a choice. It's a choice where I want to stand in my knowing. So, that was the aha moment. So believing and knowing and even hoping are choices. They're choices that we can all make. We can believe that God is a man in the clouds who's judging and picky and decides who he loves or doesn't love and who he thinks is okay and not okay. Or we can believe with a firm, solid knowing that God is life and breath and energy, love, creativity. It is us. It's expressing through us. Which one of those two feels better? I know for me which feels better. The mind that perceives the limitation is the limitation. Yeah, that was a wake-up call. Ouch. I'm like, should I put that in there? Because if I put it in there, that means I have to believe it. So this is the good news and the bad news. Because it's the same mind. It's our mind. It's an inside job. It's personal responsibility. It's on us yet again. So, all that said, I just want you to hear this thing. Life is filled with circumstances, appearances, pitfalls, speed bumps, sinkholes, and roadblocks. That's our human experience. Dan Millman put it so beautifully when he used to say, man, Earth School, it is the toughest school there is. When we all meet each other on the next plane, we're going to be like, man, do you remember Earth School? That sucked. You know? And so it's totally okay to fall down once in a while. My goodness, how could we not fall down once in a while? I could run down the list of all the things that is quote-unquote wrong with the world right now, but I don't think I need to because we know. We already know. We also, though, experienced a stellar day in Alaska yesterday. Stellar day. Blue skies, sun. There was green all around us. Oh my God, the grass. They finally mowed it at my house. I went to a bonfire. I had hot dogs on a bonfire. Best thing ever. We woke up this morning. We're all breathing on our own here. It's another incredibly gorgeous day. There's abundance all around. Look at the trees. Look at the grass. The mosquitoes. They are abundant.
And we are there abundant.
And we are there abundant. Talk about circulation. Whew. So my guess is that we've all experienced some dark nights of the soul. Moments when hoping or believing or knowing anything seemed impossible. And some folks don't make it through those dark nights. But we have. We have. Everyone in this room, everyone listening to this recording, we've made it through. Somewhere, somehow, inside of us, there was a belief, however tiny, that there was something worth staying for. Edwina Gately wrote, "Whatever happens to me in life, I must believe that somewhere in the mess and madness of it all, there is a sacred potential, a possibility for wondrous redemption in the embracing of all that is." The embracing of all that is. I was sitting with a friend recently. We were talking about all of this. We were talking about the darkness, and we were talking about the challenges, and we were talking about all of it. And she posed this question to me. She said, "Can you sit with it? Can you just sit with it? Just the way it is. Stop trying to fight it. Stop trying to resist it. Stop trying to change it. Stop wanting it to go away. Can you just let it be?" What does it mean to do that? Instead of wishing or hoping things were different, just being with what actually is, just as it is. For me to be able to do that, I need to believe that I can survive it. I need to believe that I can survive embracing what I so totally do not want to be experiencing. I also need to believe this, that when we believe with open minds and hearts, we allow the possibility that things can change. I asked my friend, I said, "So if I embrace it, will it change?" And she said, "Not if you embrace it for it to change." When you embrace it, it can change. And so this experience of possibility becomes a way of living and not just a concept. There's no moment that is the same. I could have a moment where I embrace it and it just stays exactly the same. I could have a moment where I embrace it and all of a sudden, I take a deep breath and I feel better. Every moment's going to be different. Every moment has a possibility of being different. And so, even though it feels, trust me, I know, that when you're in that space, it feels like the opposite. It does not feel like it's ever going to be different. It's simply not true. Every moment is new. Every moment is different and filled with change. It's filled with potential. It's filled with opportunity. It's filled with the possibility of awakening. And this word came, resurrection. Yes, I used the R word. Here's a cool thing. On dictionary.com, there are 6 different definitions under the word resurrection. And number 5 says, arising again as from decay or disuse. A revival. Revival. When we believe that in the midst of our experience of loss, change, instability, grief, confusion, whatever challenge we are facing, when we believe that there is a reason to keep going, we rise again. From the depths of the sadness, from the darkest night of the soul there is, we experience a revival because we believe. I'm going to close with this quote from Molly Fumia. She wrote, "Resurrection, the reversal of what was thought to be absolute, the turning of midnight into dawn, hatred into love, dying into living anew. If we look more closely into life, we will find that resurrection is more than hope. It is our experience. The return to life from death is something we understand at our innermost depths. We've come back to life, not only when we start to shake off a shroud of sorrow that has bound us, but when we begin to believe in all that is still endlessly possible." So let's do some praying. So when people ask me if I believe in God, I have to stop and take a breath. Because what I believe is that God is. Wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, wherever I'm breathing, speaking, moving, living, God is. So to believe in God would mean to believe in me. To believe in life. To believe in truth and love and creativity. To believe in each one of us. To believe in change. So I do believe in all of that. I believe that if we are each still waking up every day, then we are here still on purpose. I believe that if we are waking up each day, then there's something that we haven't done yet. That the universe is waiting for us to do. I believe that if we're waking up each day, that there's another reason for us to give, to love, to share ourselves, to take care of ourselves, to take care of each other. I believe that in every moment, even the darkest of the darkest, there is something to be learned, something to be gained, some gift that we are to receive. And I believe that if we all can take the time to sit with what is, instead of resisting it and wanting it to go away and wanting it to stop, if we can just sit with it and maybe even ask it, what is it you want from me? Then I believe that we will find out something new about ourselves and about our life. We'll discover how strong we are, how brave we are. And we'll discover that we are here to help each other through these moments. So yes, I believe. And I trust and I know. And as with every morning I wake up, when I wake up, I am so grateful for another chance. I hold each and every one of you and all those in consciousness. I hold each and every one of us in the high watch of love and protection, strength, wisdom, compassion, and infinite possibility. That is what I mean when I say I believe in God. Thank you. Ashe.